What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, a.k.a. Mr. Qualified. It's your boy. And we're back for another episode of Qualified TV. We are in person again, as you can see. Love this. Always love that. Vibes are always immaculate. But, as I say every single episode, every single guest, it's a gem. I'm not lying. I don't feel like I'm lying. But
hype it up. Just hype it.
Nah, I'm not hyping, man. Bro, no gas. I'm just saying. But I will let him introduce himself first, and then, as we typically do, we will hop right into the interview. But yeah, man, let the people know who you are.
Man, what's up, y'all? It's Mark. Mark over y'all. That's my artist name, man. But man, I'm a student. Bazoo. KC Born, man, 816. Shout out to the Kansas Cityans that's tapped in with this, bro.
Got to respect.
I'm excited for today, bro. We have been.
Yeah.
My gosh, bro.
It's been some time.
Months trying to get this together.
Literally months. I think when I first started the season, we was talking about it, and you had said, yeah, like at some point we got to make it happen. Then over the last couple months, it was always this date work. Miscommunicate, some don't work out.
All right. If we be honest, it was my fault. I'm not gonna lie.
The last time.
It was my fault. I was not texting back like I should have been. But it's senior season, so it's been like busy and stuff.
Bro, yeah, no, you gotta look. You gotta get to the end, bro. You gotta get to that stage.
Yeah,
it be like that. You have to lock in, man. Look.
Yeah, I'm almost there, bro.
It's time. It's time.
I don't know how you got through this part of your life, bro.
Hey, man, we can talk about it, because I'm saying we this about almost about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago is when we actually met. And that was crazy. Shout out to the Seven, Big Seven. Shout out Big Seven. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know.
NPU.
It's cool. But no, man. Yeah, no. That time was crazy though. That senior season for me was crazy. But yeah, it's weird, bro. I am low key. Now that you brought that up, I am a little bit interested. Before I give mine, what are your thoughts about this season you in now? Like whether it be school specific or just where you feel like you in like life season right now.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the most depressing part and do the school specific.
Okay.
Like being honest. Like school has been tough because of org involvement.
Okay.
I would say I struggle heavily with like time management and organization skills, and as someone who's involved with like 3 to 4 different orgs, that does not mesh well with like academics and grades. So like I would actually enjoy pushing off schoolwork to go do org work because I wouldn't have to do schoolwork. Like and low key a whole other side story. Like if I could go back to my sophomore year, I would have switched out of my finance major. I probably would have switched out of the whole business school, but that's just the whole story within itself. Yeah. But then also too, like every moment that I get to spend with my friends has been beautiful. But like even in that beauty, it's like dang, this is really coming to a close. Like we really finna be separate. Like, I got friends going up to Chicago. I got some people going to KC. I'm gonna be up in the Lou. So it's just like we all just going different directions. It's not like we're extremely far, but it's like when you know when you on campus and you just run into your friend.
It's different.
So I mean, it's been like that. But from a life perspective, bro, this last semester has been a lot of growth. Okay. And it has put a lot of things in perspective. And I feel like as a man, I've been growing and learning what it means to prioritize things. I feel like I've been learning what it means to prioritize family, what it means to prioritize, just things in your life as far as like my schooling and my org involvement. Like if I could go back and tell younger Mark, I'd be like, bro, listen to what your cousin said and don't get over involved because it has made you, it has helped, it has been a part of your struggle here at the end. And I've had to retake like 2 classes now, and like bro, I could have been in 4 classes. Selling my butt out of here, but now I'm in 5, and I'm out here fighting for my life, crawling to the finish line. So I feel like I've definitely been growing. I've also been learning like what it means to like set up healthy boundaries in certain relationships too, bro. That's been a thing within itself. I feel like before college, like don't get mad at me when I say this now. I had low maintenance relationships because a lot of my relationships, my deep relationships with guys, bro. We can not talk to each other for months, call each other, go hang out, and it's business as usual. But I got 2 sisters that I'm very close with that I met here over the past couple of years, and they're wanting more of me. They deserve more of me, and I didn't know how to give it because I had never been in that position. So now I'm learning I'm learning what it means to really listen and how to be able to reciprocate that and show it through my actions, bro. It's been a lot going on, though.
Hey, nah, man. I ain't gonna even call it triggering, but I know that time, bro. I definitely know that space, and now it's really interesting you say that though, because I think that it's not really until you leave undergrad, I say college, but like undergrad specifically, it's not really till you a bit removed from it that you really understand the structure that it gives you during that time. Like college is the only time, 9 times out of 10 in your life, where everything you need and everybody you probably want around you for the most part is literally in a 10 to 15 minute radius. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's never gonna be like that again. Like you said, like you can have people that's like, you know, it ain't nothing to hop in the car and do a weekend trip, but it's not the same as like, bro, I just gotta go drive 10 minutes to be with the bros, or drive 10 minutes to link up with whoever. Like it ain't, you know, it's not the same. But you made a really good point about relationship maintenance, and I think that college is a real first taste, and it's crazy that college itself is a taste because it's such a large sample size of it, or can be. But it's interesting you know said how with guys it's kind of always easy with guys, because we guys are real low maintenance. We are super low maintenance, man.
That's it.
Hey bro, it's been about a month. You good, man? Nothing super crazy happened. Nothing drastic happened.
Chilling, bro.
It's been mostly business as usual.
Chilling.
All right, cool. We can go hoop, play 2K, go do whatever. We good.
That.
But what has it been like having those relationships with those sisters, and knowing that they want more, knowing that they deserve more? What has that challenge been like for you in regards to you looking in the mirror and saying, man, no, I gotta step up to the plate? Because it's funny, I mentioned this in one of the Just Checking In episodes, Just Checking In podcast. Check that out on the YouTube channel as well when you get some time. But we was having a conversation about friends, and my best friend, like my best friend in the whole wide world, is a woman, like same age, same class, like been best friends since middle school, really. But like it really, the friendship blossomed in high school. Okay. But she was always the one that kind of like was the real support system for me, and it wasn't that I wasn't that for her, but it was also that she didn't push me on it. Like she didn't challenge me until as we got older, as we started going through different situations in life. There were moments where it's like, no, like Steve, I know the capacity that you have. I need you to be that type of friend for me. Like I need that. I know it may not have seemed like that. I know I may not have expressed that before, but I need that. So that was a challenge where for the first time I was like, no, I gotta really be intentional about this. I gotta make sure that I'm paying attention to it. I can't treat it like the bros where if we don't talk for a month, I can just expect to come back. Like a lot is happening. And you need your best friend sometimes. So yeah, what was that challenge like for you, or how have you kind of approached that challenge?
So I'll split it up like this. It was they needed something from me, and I needed to give them something. So that's how I'm gonna set this up. And I'm gonna start with that they needed something from me. And what that looked like was I needed to be a better axer of things. I needed to be more involved with what was going on in their life. Like I would just kind of like the way that I think about it, like the way that I was raised. Like I grew up in a single household, just my dad. My mother wasn't really around. Shout out to moms, they'll love her. The way that I grew up was like me and my dad. We may have been in the same house, but we weren't talking to each other. We weren't interacting. But for me, that was enough. Like the fact that you home, I'm good. And he provided for me. I had food. I had whatever, toiletries, man. Games and all that kind of crap, bro. I had everything that I needed. Schoolwork, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I brought over to them. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm doing my best to provide for y'all. I'm giving y'all rides when y'all need it. If y'all need help with something, I got y'all. If y'all need help with homework, I got y'all. If you just need a person to just like, I don't know, cook with you need to take you to the store or something like that, I got you. But they wanted more than just a provider friend. They wanted a relational friend, and I didn't know how to give that to them. Until, I really started listening to them. I say the Lord over my ears, because it was for so long, I was just very hard-headed to them, constantly telling me, Mark, why don't you ever ask questions? Mark, I don't feel like you're listening to me. Mark, you don't ever ask me how I'm doing. Mark, are you even listening right now? Like, those things are being repeated, but I wasn't hearing them until one time, my sister Gabby, she really kind of knocked it into me, and it was just like, okay, I haven't been listening to y'all. I want to know how I can better support y'all. You guys are telling me, but I'm not receiving it. But I'm not receiving it because I didn't realize that I'm having to adjust how I operate to receive it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that was one end, and so now I guess what that has looked like, it's just being more present with them, like literally asking about their day and caring about it, and not just been like not asking out of courtesy, but asking out of care. And then being able to guide them through things, and then sometimes it is just listening, man. That was hard for me to learn. I feel like maybe that's a dual thing. Like it's possible to just listen without having to have that solver mindset.
Yeah, it's hard, but like you said, that when you, not only from societal standards, but if you are in a household where that is what is taught, like so the way you talked about like your parental dynamic, mine was flipped in a sense. For the most part, it was moms in the house, me and my sister, and dad wasn't in the house. Dad was around though. Shout out pops.
Okay.
But being it ain't even so much a man of the house thing, but still the head of the household mindset. And for me, it was the dynamic of, I really struggled early on with how my relationship with my father affected what I thought manhood was and what I thought it looked like or what it needed to look like. So for me, the protector aspect became so key because my mom, younger sister, I got two girl cousins, one same age as my sister, a year younger, one a year older, auntie, two grandmas. So like my immediate family is women. So a bit naturally as I got older, that protector mindset set in. But like you said, everybody, every friend, every woman isn't looking for a protector.
That's it.
And it was weird to think that like, okay, well, like, dang, if you don't need that, like, I don't know, like, what I'm supposed to do, like, but, and it's weird because and in a way, as long as I think for men, as long as you are allowed to be human in that sense, to understand that, okay, I don't know what to do, but, like, there are endless possibilities to what else I could learn.
Yeah.
I think that's the key, and I think a lot of men kind of shut off after, like, well, okay, if I can't do that, that's all I know how to do, so maybe I'm just not supposed to be worried, about you know what I'm saying? So, but no, that's really interesting, bro, and I think learning that early on is so key because it becomes, I won't say that it becomes harder, but I think it becomes more difficult because as you start to, just get older naturally and go through different seasons in life, you have more responsibilities. So now you have to just be more intentional about maintaining those relationships. So imagine not learning it in college and learning it like in your mid or late 20s when it's like you already done got set in certain ways and it's this continuous unlearning thing. So yeah, man. So it's like, it's funny, a lot of stuff that you experience, like especially at that tail end of college, because I know for me, I thought like some of the stuff I experienced in that last year or so, I was like, oh, okay, bet. I went through it, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be straight. And then they show up again 2, 3, 4 years later, and it's like, oh, this is a continuous thing. I will forever be unlearning things, debunking things, because we don't realize how much kind of settles over time until we really realize like, oh, this has to change, or oh, I have to approach this differently if I want to be considerate, or if I want to actually be showing up in the way that this person needs me to show up. So,
and I think the hard part about that is like it's not like we don't know that it's gonna happen. We hate the confrontation. We hate the difficult conversations. We hate it gets exhausting time after time being told about yourself. When you constantly have to check yourself and see like, oh my, I'm doing this again. I can't get it right. Like when I be saying I'm always in the doghouse, bro. I stay in the doghouse. But it's like you also have to keep a perspective. Like, well, I have to keep having these hard conversations if I want to keep getting exponential growth. If I want to keep growing and becoming a better person, then I have to have these difficult conversations. I have to be okay with people telling me about myself.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear, I mean, we love to hear as humans all day long praise, man.
Yeah.
How good we doing and how great we're doing. But we don't realize that we need that you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong more.
Yeah.
Because it will lead us to something greater. And like you're saying, like I didn't even really think about that, the fact that when we do get older, we become stuck in our ways, and when we get to opportunities and relationships in our life, because we were unwilling to change then, we're blocking ourselves from something now.
Yeah.
So that's real, bro.
Yeah, no, it's so layered, bro. Like it's crazy. Like being, I mean, I'm closer to 30. I ain't got no shame in it now. It ain't nothing like that. Ain't no shame.
Man right
you know what I'm saying? But I say that to say that everything for me is like everything I thought I had a grasp on. Like I had the smallest inkling of understanding on. I didn't. And for some things I still don't. And it's like it's how do I continue to keep myself open to not only criticism.
Yeah.
And it's not even so much the idea of like I think a lot of people get to a point where they realize they're not perfect. But when do you actually get to a place where you can accept that you'll consistently be learning? That you'll consistently be getting
Facts.
things wrong.
Facts.
And trying to figure out how to get them right.
Yeah.
And some things you will ultimately master, but there is a lot. The majority of things that won't happen. And because a lot of us look for praise, because a lot of us look for that external validation, because a lot of us look for not even so much the positive things, but we just look for things to like
be comfortable.
Be comfortable.
So comfortable.
Yeah, be comfortable and make sense in this kind of like fantasy world in our heads that we haven't accepted the reality that like you're gonna be wrong a lot more than you're probably gonna be right.
Yeah.
And nothing's wrong with that, but it's all about how you bounce back.
Yeah.
It's all about how you respond. But yeah, it hasn't came up much in the conversation yet, but one of the biggest things that stood out when I met you for the first time, was your faith. And I think it's just because when I first met you, man, and I like, we first followed each other and everything. I'm on your page and I'm like, this isn't normal. This isn't something you see every day. You don't see, and I've tried to be very conscious about using the words kids because I don't believe in calling like college students kids. But it's like, you don't see people in that space often. I don't even think it's about a comfortability thing because you got a lot of people that come in and are very comfortable in their faith, but I don't think you have a lot of people that come into a college environment and take the leap of like, I'm going to not only express my faith, but try to teach it to others. And I would imagine be doing that not for the sake or not to keep up with the acknowledgement of it or the recognition of it, but just doing what you feel like is your purpose, is a service to a degree. So where did your faith journey start? Yeah, we getting there.
That's a deep story.
Let's get into it.
Qualls, bro. So I'm gonna say at the very tip of my faith journey will be my auntie. She would always drag me out to church with her. But I don't really say that I grew up in the church though, because it's like I just never really saw. When I was younger, I didn't feel the church was a home. You know, I didn't go to church and have church friends and stuff like that. You know, I would sit in the pews or in the pews or whatever with my auntie, my pastor, man, one of my spiritual fathers to this day. He would be giving the word, but I'd be sitting there like, I don't know what this man is saying. People around me hooting, hollering, and it's just like, for me, it's not hidden. But that would be like the tip of the iceberg to what would become where I am now. And then I would say one of the catalyst moments of my life was when my father passed. So my dad passed when I was 16 in 2018 by prostate cancer. But in that period, it's sad, but it's like I was able to watch that process. Okay. And so like just to give you an image, like if this is my dad's room right here, I'm right above him. Okay. So as he's dealing with this cancer, I can hear him at night in his pain. I can hear all that deepness. And so I prayed to God one night and I had no relationship. This was more so like I'm just praying to a man on the throne type situation. And I asked him, I said, are you getting ready to take my father? And I told him I'd rather him be up there with you than down here with me in pain. And then a few months later, he passed. And for me, that I felt like a lot of people around me and a lot of my dad's friends were like, Mark, during that time, you were stronger than us. And I think it was a strength from God. You know, it was his grace on my life that he comforted me in that moment. And I feel like that, looking back now, I can say God was present with me then. So throughout all my high school, wasn't really, I was one of them, I was a person who said, I know Jesus, I follow Jesus, but I wasn't know none of it, bro. I'm doing all the 9 yards, the drinking, the smoking. If he really wanted to get into it, I was doing acid and shrooms, bro. I was off the map, bro. I was really out here wilding. And then I got into a cult my between freshman and sophomore year of college here, called the World Mission Society. God, whole nother story, bro. Nevertheless, I was there for like a year, bro. And at the tail end of that year, I was in DC for the summer on an internship program. And that was a moment, like, bro, where there was just complete unrest in my heart. Because I'm seeking God in this cult, but I'm like, bro, I don't feel like you're answering. Right. I don't feel like you're here. I don't feel like you're present. I don't see anything about me changing. I've been trying to search for you and seek for you. I've been praying about you and asking you, but I've heard nothing. And then I finally got home and I asked him, I said, if this is not the place that I'm supposed to be, then you need to let me know right now. And it's just like, it just clicked in my head that this place is cultish. And that's that's next podcast, y'all. next podcast. But, and then I would say coming into my junior year, that's when I was like, okay, let's do this for real. Okay. And what got me caught up in the cult was the fact that I was letting them read the Bible to me. I had never opened up the Bible on my own and read it myself. So I was taking everything they said at face value. You want to say something?
No, I'm going to remember it, but I want you to finish. I'm going to remember it, though.
Okay. And so I started reading the Bible on my own early junior year. I started fellowshipping with Second Baptist. I forgot who got me plugged in up there, but beautiful Bible study and just a good place to nurture me, bro. And then it's just like something just clicked in me, bro. Like I'm on fire for this dude right now. Like I'm enjoying reading this word. I'm enjoying seeking him. I fasted during those times, and it's like this is right. This is where I'm supposed to be. And it wasn't just a feel good feeling, you know, because you can have moments like I feel good right now. Yeah. This was like a piece that I couldn't understand, bro. It was just like this is just I know this is right. And bro, ever since then, bro, I've been blessed to be bold in my faith and to be a vessel on campus to carry his light around with me, and it's not just me. I mean, it's a group of us out here doing this, man.
No, for sure, so, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. First of all, amazing story. Secondly, very sorry to hear about your pops, man. And it's so wild because last year, a little over a year, probably about like year and 2-ish months now, I lost one of my line brothers to cancer, and I know other people that have lost their fathers or parents. Like it's almost like once it kind of hits closer to home, you start to realize how many people had that relationship with losing people to cancer, and it's just there's a different for me, I think a different level of kind of like, I don't even know the word, but understanding and almost kind of acceptance that comes with just having to navigate that process, and you spoke to that a little bit. But something you mentioned, I know it's something that I didn't really think about until you said it, but I think there are a lot of people, whether you consider yourself heavy in faith or whether you consider yourself, I don't know if passive is the word, but you know, you just kind of
trying to figure it out type. Yeah.
You know, I think there are a lot of people that don't learn the word for themselves. Because even when we're younger, a lot of it is, like you said, your parents are taking you to church. You going like, you know, we went to church, like before I came to college, we went to church, you know, every Sunday, and that's because it wasn't no question.
Yeah, you got
to go to church, you know what I'm saying? So coming to college, and for me, it was never like and what I learned about myself was, it was never this idea that like, oh, I don't want to go. I just stopped making it seem like the church, the physical place of the church, is the definition of my relationship with God. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't go if you can, because I definitely think being in that space can be very beneficial, and it is a part of it. But that was just like kind of my personal relationship with it. And I think a lot of people that are kind of like forced to go like throughout childhood, when they get that bit of like freedom, is kind of like, I don't gotta go every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, what you gotta say?
Can I ask this, bro?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Do you have church hurt at all?
Church hurt? What is church hurt?
Like you've experienced from somehow within the church, whether it's been a person, whether it's been a pastor in the church, or something, like whether it's been a relationship with a Christian or something, like they've hurt you, they like misrepresented Christ almost.
I don't know, and I wouldn't confidently be able to say it's church hurt, but I do think that a particular message about how to be a certain type of Christian that's what was passed. Like that was what was being taught in a way. And I think that if anything, once I started learning how
how faith can look differently for certain people, or how your relationship with God can look differently. I think that's the most where it wasn't really hurt, but I just kind of understood that you get to define and really be in control of the narrative of what your relationship with God is.
Yeah.
But I don't think I felt that. I know people that have,
Okay.
but I haven't felt that personally. But that is really interesting. I didn't know that was a term, a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, that's really interesting. But what was the main difference for you when you stopped letting the word be read to you and you start to have a better understanding of it for yourself?
I would say it'd be like, I guess the difference would be, instead of me going to Joel to hear about who Qual is, I'm going to Qual directly.
Okay.
That was the difference. So now I'm actually having to take my time to build this relationship. Like, I think when I understood, at the end of the day, knowing God is not about knowing him intellectually alone. It's about knowing him relationally. Just like I know you, I have to spend time with you to get to know you. And the best way to get to know God is through the word that he gave for us. So I have to spend time in the word. And when I started reading that mug, it's like, I mean, it's not like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like when I first started getting back into it, everything just started opening up to me. That's not how stuff works.
Right.
You have to study it just like anything else. Like any other textbook, you have to study that mug. And we're willing to go out and find, like, bro, anything you're passionate about, you're willing to go out and find the best resources to get connected, to get plugged in, and to learn. And I did the same thing with the word. I started looking for different Bible resources, different translations. I started learning about the different Greek and Hebrew contexts of the word, understanding what it means to read the word. I started to look for, like, the differences between Old Testament and New Testament. Certain books are poems, and certain books are historical books. And it's like there's differences in that, and you have to read them differently. And so, but that's just because I felt the passion for them. And so now I'm gonna chase you like I really would chase something that I'm passionate about. So.
Yeah. No, that's no pun intended. That's a word for sure. That's definitely a word, and it is interesting how many people do not approach their relationship with God or their relationship with the Word with that mindset. Like because the way you explained it is very simple. Like you said, if there's anything that you're passionate about, nobody has to tell you to go find the resources or to dig deep or to do the additional research to have the deepest understanding possible, because you desire that. And so for you, as somebody who has had, your particular faith journey, how do you approach, I wouldn't say it's the business of like convincing, right? But how do you approach teaching people to find it? Because I don't want to say that you taking the responsibility of trying to teach it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to whether it be who you cross paths with or whether it just be part of your purpose, how have you came to become more comfortable with teaching people how to find God and the Word in their own way?
So first I'm gonna say I've made a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
Hopefully I've never been a cause of church hurt for anybody, but I think I've definitely, even with close people around me, I've kind of been Jesus. I've been that person in your face. Go to the word. Well, this is what this said. And like, yes, we're supposed to share the word, but it's like in the Bible it talks about you shouldn't cast pearls to pigs, and it's basically just saying like you can't give somebody something they're not ready for. They're not gonna know what to do with it. And I have been horrible at that. It's not as effective because the word says that you shouldn't cast pearls to pigs. And in that same sense, if I'm constantly throwing scripture at you, if I'm constantly trying to put Jesus in your face, I'm putting something at your feet that you don't know nothing to do with. You're not ready to receive that. And maybe you don't want to receive it at all. So now that's causing damage to our relationship, because now I'm putting you in a position where you don't ever want to be vulnerable or open about me. You don't want to share yourself with me because you're afraid to get hit with that Jesus stuff all the time. And it's like, I'm not trying to have that. So I moved to a position of, let me just get to know a person. And let me stop trying to always make Jesus a bat to hit somebody in the head with. And instead, let me be an ear for Jesus. Let me be a voice for Jesus. And allow people to share themselves with me. And when they're sharing with me, they may not even know it, but they're talking to somebody with the presence of Jesus around them. So now I can give something to them that Jesus wants them to receive when I'm allowing myself to be submitted and led by Him. And that looks like a variety of things, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's different from person to person. Sometimes it's just a what's up. Sometimes it's an encouraging word. Sometimes it's like just sitting down and listening to people, bro. It could be a gazillion different things, but I feel like that's been one of the best ways I've seen, especially in college, been able to just share it with people. And then and you had mentioned like how do you help them get that spark and that passion?
Yeah.
I don't even know, bro. If I'm being completely honest, like I it's like for me, I would think it's something that you have to go seeking on your own. You have to want it.
Yeah.
I can't not only give it to you, but I can only encourage you so much.
Yeah.
Before it's just like, do you want it or do you not?
No, that's very real, and I always find it interesting because I've always had a relationship with God, right? But I don't think that relationship started to mature until recently. So, always knowledgeable about Him, knowledgeable enough about the Word to know it and to know certain ways to lean on it when necessary.
Yeah.
But I do not think that I always allowed my ears to be open. I do not think that I always allowed Him to have the control that He should. And it's very subconscious. It's not a, like, for me it was never like, oh, I'm ignoring. It's this idea of just being in certain seasons of life and things like that. It's always like, okay, well, I have to control my circumstances here now, like on earth. And to a degree, that's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? But having a relationship where there's and you mentioned it earlier, I think the best thing about a relationship with God is the peace that it brings you. And it's not so much that it solves everything. It's not so much that it takes everything off the map. But, and that's why I'm saying like them.
You probably start preaching.
Hey, man. No, don't do that, because my mom done been saying, she gonna be like, see that interview, see, he told you that. No, but for real, that was part of the maturity of my relationship with Him, because it was like, you don't necessarily directly seek for answers, right? But the hope is that, okay, there are some things I'm going to lay on you so I can have a bit more peace about them, and just have a peace about however things fall, I'm going to be all right. It may not always look how I want it to. It may not always look how I think it's supposed to, but I'm going to be all right. And I think when I got to a point where I could see that and I could be at peace with that aspect of it, it made it easier to navigate, okay, how do I grow closer? How do I, like, what do I want to lean on, like, within my faith? So yeah, man, it's always an interesting and almost always a very, like, powerful journey. In general, learning Him and building a relationship with Him. But it does have to come from a desire of your own to do it. It's not, nobody else can give you that. Nobody else can really push you, or at least it won't be sustainable, and it won't be as beneficial as it can if it's not from your own desire. So.
And like you said, as soon as something comes up in your life where it requires you to depend on Him, you're not going to. You know, you're going to go back to what you're doing. And like, just to talk about that briefly, bro, like that's the hardest part of following God. Being dependent on somebody that you can't see. Like, what in the world? People already, and myself included, already have trouble depending on the people who say that they're there for you. Right? Yeah. And now you're asking me to depend on somebody who's saying they're there for me, but I can't see them.
Yeah.
Like, that's rough. Yeah. And I think, but that's a part of building that relationship, because He's trying to prove Himself to you, which He ain't got to.
Right.
But He's trying to, and He's trying to show you, I am that person you can depend on. I am that person who's never going to let you down. But something that we struggle with, and myself for sure, is that we put up the expectations of what it means to be dependent on God. Like, for example, if I'm in class, right, and I need an A on this test.
Yeah.
I have to get an A on this test. And if I don't get an A on this test, I gotta retake this test. Lord, I'm depending on you right now to give me an A on this test. I get a C on the test.
Right.
Lord, you weren't there for me.
Right.
Now I gotta retake this class. Now I'm retaking this class. Next thing you know, there's somebody I'm sitting next to who's been wondering about who God was. See, we be so caught up in trying to have it our way, and when we surrender stuff to Him, we don't really surrender it completely. And it's just because it's not, bro. We don't live in a world, in a society that says surrender yourself. We do it our way. Do it yourself. You know, figure it out on your own. But God is like, nah, don't figure it out on your own. Matter of fact, come to me. I'm gonna figure it out for you, and trust and believe that it's gonna get figured out the best way possible for you. And sometimes you gotta go through some crap, bro. Like, that's just what it is. Like, we don't live in a perfect world in any way, and God is not promising us a perfect life. So it's just like sometimes you gotta go through stuff. And I feel like the sooner we become comfortable with, or I'm gonna say this actually, when I became more comfortable with the fact that following God meant that I was gonna have to go through some stuff, it was easy. It got easier.
That's a great point, because I think a lot of people who, especially if they were not raised in church or if they were not introduced to it early, I feel like a lot of people's perception is, oh, if I follow Him, if I believe in Him, then everything should be
perfect.
Not even perfect, but it's just like everything should be good, or oh, I won't have to worry about. People probably wouldn't even be using this language, but people think certain trials and tribulations don't go just jump over them. They not gonna experience it because I follow God, so that I can't possibly go through that type of struggle. I can't possibly get caught. And my thing is, when you think about it, and this again is just a part of learning it in your own way in your own time, but
literally,
there are so many people. You gotta think, like, it's people that's losing partners in life out here. That's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But like, it's people that's losing like life partners, or it's people that's losing people in succession at a rate that's like, how do you expect somebody to deal with that? And you not seeing those people surprised or looking like, well, why did this happen to me? Because I believe in ABC, and it's like I think that's the piece of it. It truly is understanding that the belief in Him and the relationship with Him does not mean that there is not strife or sacrifice on my part. It is all, but it is, I'll be good. I'll get through it. It's something on the other side for me. You know what I'm saying?
That's what, and I want to say this to you, bro. I was just feeling this. That's the one. If you know what His promises say, bro, if you go and read the Word, you'll know that just because you in something hard right now, that ain't the end of it, my boy. That's not the end. You can be like, sorry, bro.
No, you good. No, go ahead.
You can be literally in the worst place in your life. You did everything that you were supposed to do. You did every single thing correct, and yet you still not where you're supposed to be. But if you keep on following and trust God, He promises that there is something on the other end. We don't always see it.
Amen.
We don't always recognize it. And I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes you lose that hope and faith. But you got to find it in yourself to say, God, I trust you. Because this is a promise from you. So I'm going to keep on going through this season of my life where it's just like, what in the world? And I'm going to move through it. And best believe, bro, the people that hold stead to Him, bro, they get, whoa, what happened, bro? You blew up out of nowhere, bro. What?
Out of nowhere.
Like,
this ain't out of nowhere. This ain't out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my bad.
Bro. I'm glad you did, man. It's one is necessary. Two, it's on your heart, so we not stopping that. But three, man, and just last thing on that piece of it in general is like, believing in God is understanding that you're going to have to dig deep consistently. Like you said, you're going to have to consistently dig deep to consistently find it. Like, it ain't, some people, sometimes people get to a point in their faith where like, it's a flat line. It's just there. They got their process. They just know. But especially when you young, I say especially for our generation, for real, it's like with everything that is being shown to us, everything that is out there, all the other things you can believe in, it's like you really gotta dig deep and say, nah, like I gotta, even because it's not uncommon for it to be lost to a degree. It's not uncommon for it to be difficult to find and, you know, hold on to sometimes, but you gonna dig deep and find it when you need it, or you gonna give up. And I think that's, hey man.
I put too much in to give up now.
You hear me? You hear me? Couple quick questions for you before we get to that final question that everybody loves to hear the answer to.
Okay.
Your favorite version of the Bible, like your favorite
Christian Standard Bible.
Okay.
I got the Tony Evans Christian Standard Bible. It's the Study Bible. That's what I came up with.
Okay. So the Bible, cool. Do you like the King James version? Do you like reading it?
I don't read that. I'm not gonna say I don't read it by itself. I gotta have something next to it to understand. But it low key be.
You know what I'm saying? Man, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta figure out, what a few words mean. You know what
I'm not reading it by myself though. Like, nah, these thous and he's no. Nah.
Your favorite scripture?
I got a couple.
Okay.
The first one coming to mind, 1 Corinthians 10:31. For whatever it is you do, whether you eat or drink, always give glory to God. Yep. So.
For sure, absolutely. So I noticed this tattoo on your arm.
Yep.
Okay, and it's a scripture.
Yeah.
All right.
Matthew 28:32. Love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind. That is the greatest command.
Love that. I have a Roman numeral 2.
Okay.
And I have Jeremiah 29:11.
Okay.
And then I have Philippians 4:13. Philippians 4:13 is my mom's favorite scripture.
Okay.
And then Jeremiah 29:11. Interestingly enough, my freshman year, because my mom will do this throughout time, just be sending scriptures that she feel like applies to me because it's put on her spirit. So I was at no, in fact, that's mom's. You know what I'm saying? But for her to for that to be one of the scriptures she sent me my freshman year, and for my college career to have been what it was, like some of the obstacles I went through, some of the things I experienced, and even to now, it's just like, man, like just to know that something is destined for you, even if you don't know what it is, just to know that you destined for something is a blessing, bro. So
you have to know that. I gotta speak to y'all. Don't give up. The reason why that's a feeling of the enemy trying to stop you to get from where you supposed to be. Whether you somebody who you on the Christian track or not, there is something for you. Facts. He just said it. You are destined for something. You have purpose. You ain't have to know the details of it all right now, but don't quit. Because I promise, whatever it is that you have in this life to do is going to impact somebody. It may impact 5 people, but them 5 people will go on to impact 100 different people at a time. Bro, I'm telling you.
It's a bro. It's the mic drop. He said, hey, what can I say? Final question that I ask every guest that I am honored to have on this show. We've talked about so much, man. We've talked about your journey as a man, your journey in faith specifically, your journey in music, and we've talked about God and everything in between that encompasses. Man, Mark, what makes you qualified, bro?
Dude, that's a deep question.
Amen.
What makes me qualified? I'm not qualified. That's the honest answer. I'm not qualified. But I got Christ in me, and He is the qualifier. So as long as I'm rocking with Him, I got all that I need. So, and then if y'all want the real answer, man, I'm here with Qualls, bro. How do you not be qualified and be Qualls? I need, what is it? Is it a card or something? Like, for real, like, membership?
Membership is crazy.
Qualifications?
Membership is crazy. But no, that's real, bro. And I love that answer. And I love that everybody has a different take on it as well. And I love that there's no wrong answer, but the way that people perceive the question, the way that people feel the need to respond, like, is always so interesting to me. Because it's always kind of like, well, dang, I've never really been asked that. Like, what does it even mean to be? But people find it, and it's always very intuitive. It's always, you can tell that, like, somebody's trying to figure out, like, what stands out. Like, what about me really is, like, the thing that keeps going. And always get an amazing answer. So yeah, so yours is no different. But
Look,
man, anything that you want to plug or anything that you want people to know, where can the people follow you? All that good jazz.
If y'all want to keep up with me, my Instagram is Marco underscore, it's Marco with a K underscore YWA, Marco where you at. And I just want to time step this. Today is May 7th, 2024, and Marco where you at just did his first interview with Qualls, man. Y'all gonna be like, bro, Mark was really here, bro. What? Bro, y'all gotta go back. Y'all didn't know he was on the podcast with Qualls back then? I'm like, yeah, man, I got his signature and everything. So, hey, continue to stay tapped in with Qualls. Continue to share his content, man. It's up from here, man. Love.
Hey, y'all heard him. Love. Until next episode. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.